Hello and welcome back to TNI-UK Impacted episode 186, coming to you live via the Total Nonstop Impact Network on YouTube and Twitch. And if you listen on the go, then we're also available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your favorite shows. I am, of course, your host, Bison. I am back from my holiday in Turkey. And today I am joined, of course, by the man coming to us from the void of his own mind, the Joker. And hopefully, fingers crossed, the local nightclub man himself, of course, LimpstarUK Craig. He's going to be hopefully joining us any minute. He's just having a few technical issues, which is why we're a little bit late. But fingers crossed, he'll be with us shortly. Fingers crossed. Just having a few issues with sound. These things sort of happen. I don't know. I don't know why it's happened, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, the Bison is back. He's had a fantastic holiday. I look really dark, so I'm going to put my light on.
Yeah, no, we thought that was the tan.
I thought that was the tan. Jesus Christ, mate. I'd have gone pretty dark if I'd... Yeah, anyway. So I've got a little bit of a tan. Yeah. Nice coffee there. But anyway, right. So, what an incredible week we've had. How's everything going with you, my friend? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. I'm absolutely amazed by the overnight news with NXT. Jesus Christ, that blew me away, threw me for a loop after setting everything up and catching up and everything yesterday and Monday.
Yeah,
but wow,
good stuff. Loads of good stuff.
Yeah, it's just like everything that's happened with WWE and TNA so far has just showed Tony Khan what good business practice is.
Definitely, I think it's a much better partnership. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Now,
it's just nice to take a quick jab at Tony anytime we can. You know, he did it to TNA, exactly. So let's return the favor.
We do like that. We could do our own adverts. Maybe we could do our own adverts, though.
Yes,
we could set up our own advert, taking jabs at AEW. We could.
Yeah.
We could record them and we could start playing them halfway through the show.
Yeah.
Just taking jabs, and because we could definitely do that. I don't think that'd be much of an issue. But we'll have to see. Okay.
Sammy says hello too.
Oh, hey, Sammy. I had a fantastic holiday. It was bloody hot. I'm not going to lie. I know some people that live in places like Texas or whatever. But at the end of the day, it was 94 to 98 all week when I was in Turkey, and I have to say, that was hot, man. It was hot enough for me. I was kind of like, man, I need to get in this pool right now.
So the heat waves that were going on in Greece was terrible. It was like 45 degrees Celsius, I think it is, in Imperial and European. But Christ, that was just insane. So I was just thinking, must be about the same heat around in Turkey. So up just along the same area, borderline of the equator. So, God, I don't know how I'm glad you survived. Well,
mate, honestly, I mean, the good thing was that the hotel rooms had aircon, right? So,
yeah.
That was one good thing, because the nights were dropping much below an 80. So it was like it was in the 90s during the day, and then it was sort of kind of in the 80s at night.
Yeah,
it was hot, mate. It was hot the whole time. If I hadn't had aircon, there's no way I would have been able to sleep all week, because it was that bad. But yeah, I got a bit of prickly heat, so I was like itching like crazy all the time as well.
Yeah,
in my leg.
I hate that.
Oh man, but hey, it was great. I had a fantastic time. Kids had a good time. Wife had a good rest. So you know what they say: happy wife, happy life. So we're all good. We're all good. So we had a fantastic time. But I am glad to be back in the UK, where the weather is normal.
Well, normal for now.
Normal, mate. I'm quite happy with this kind of weather. I'm happy for it to stay this, maybe a little bit warmer. I'm all right, like between sort of kind of like late 70s, early 80s to mid 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
about 85. Once it starts getting closer to the 90, then I start to struggle a bit. But I think maybe I'm not going to pick a country that tops out at like 102 or something the previous week. So literally, like 2 days before we flew, it was 102 or something. Christ, I don't want none of that shit going on. But anyway, for you in the UK, that means that was like 48 degrees or something.
Oh, that's way too much for me.
It was hot. It was hot, but it was great.
32 is too much for me.
Mate.
It
was warm, but it was fun. And we had a Turkish bath. That was good. Massages and all sorts of stuff like that. It was lovely. Right. Let's have a look. Who we got in? Let me go and have a quick look, because we've got to say hello to everybody, haven't we?
Shout out to Melonhead and
looks like Eric Isaac's in the house. Terence is with us. Terence Sullivan, as you said, Melonhead. Mears joined us. Zach's in the house. Go on, Zach Bonifer. Nice to see you, buddy.
Hey.
Punk's obviously joined us and slapped us with a £2, $2. That's nice, thank you. Melonhead Keith is in the house as well. Keith Goldman, so good to see you guys. Simon Plum, he believes, he's joined us. Dragonstorm's in the house. Dead Punk Gage is in the house. I agree with that. And what else have we got going on? But yeah, nice to see Punk as well. So let's get started, shall we? Let's have a chat about the news, rumors, TNA Impact recap of the week. Here we go. So TNA are looking to add people to their street teams. I like it when they do stuff like this. I mean, I think they were looking at Philly. Was it Atlanta, possibly? I can't remember where it was, down Florida.
Yeah, it's basically every venue they're coming up to now. That they need to get that. They're looking to get more people than they've already had recruited.
Yeah,
and it's fantastic. They're going to come on to Slammiversary, but the hype from Against All Odds and building up the Slammiversary has just pushed everything that they had expected.
Because they were even they were looking for people for Montreal and everything, weren't they?
Yeah, and it's like they had everything planned for like a static, unexpected turnout, but everything's gotten so much bigger and better than they thought it would do. They have to. It's gone insane, which is good. It's a good kind of chaos that we've been hoping to see for a very long time.
I mean, talking about Slammiversary, as you just mentioned there, they opened up more seats, didn't they, for Slammiversary?
Yeah.
And literally within hours, they all sold out. They opened up like in complete, massive bleacher. They opened up another bleacher, which apparently had another 200 places in it.
Yeah, that's fantastic news. They could probably
sold them out within a couple of hours.
Amazing.
I think it's absolutely crazy. But interestingly enough, the work, as we've said previously on previous shows, the work that PCO's been putting in Montreal has been amazing. I think they need to consider doing more of that kind of stuff for all the other places they visit, with the stars that they have from those specific areas, and get them out doing the work, getting them doing the promoting a little bit more in advance and stuff like that as well.
And they're going to Ohio soon. I want your thought on this too. Actually, I talked about it last week. To Craig, when they come to Ohio, we need to see Jake Crist versus Mike Santana 1-on-1. What's your thoughts on that?
Jake Crist versus Mike Santana.
Yeah, 1-on-1.
Yeah, that would be a great match. The problem that we got is TNA don't seem to want to bring Jake in anymore, which is a real pain. I don't get it, because he's fucking amazing. But anyway, that'd be a really good match. That would be a good match. Talking about Jake and Mike Santana, funny enough, TNA put up some lovely Father's Day photo shoot pictures on the website. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I just took my Father's Day just a blank day for me, so I didn't pay much attention to all the Father's Day festivities and celebration and that.
There were some good ones, man. There's some really nice ones. Nice one of Josh Alexander and Jet and his family, and Mike Santana and his daughter. I think Kaz was on. There were some lovely photographs.
Yeah.
Dead Punk, I agree. Jake Chris versus anyone is a great match. Exactly. That's what I don't get why he's not on the roster.
Yeah. Courtney as well.
He's in his best shape of his career right now. And they had him when he was not in the best shape of his career, and he was still amazing. Now he's in the best shape of his career. They don't seem to they don't want him, which is weird. But anyway, okay, NXT-TNA partnership is starting to gain some momentum with Joe Hendry, Frankie Kazarian debut on NXT last night. It's a huge roar from the crowd chanting for Joe, and of course TNA chants. I believe in Joe Hendry. I just want your thoughts, Joe, on the partnership so far. I'm interested to know what all you guys are thinking in the chat. So this is your time. Let's get the NXT-TNA stuff out of the way right now. And let's talk about all of that right now. Now I'm going to say this, and we'll get to Joe in a sec. I'm going to say this. I think that this partnership is shaping up to be very good. And I think if you just take off this win and loss crap that people online seem to be having, you've got to look a bit deeper than that. You've got to look a little bit deeper than that. Yes, Joe Hendry was taken out within within 2 or 3 minutes or whatever. In that battle royale, but Frankie Kazarian was the guy that was sort of kind of in front of all of that, so he was the one that was sort of effectively eliminated Joe. So that that's all part of the current storyline, which was started at Against All Odds. So that makes complete sense, right? But the rub for Joe Hendry came as Joe was going out and was obviously ranting at HBK because he's sexy. And he literally just looked at the camera and went, well, I believe. And there was your rub.
Yeah. That
was your rub.
There's talk that Joe Hendry could end up going over to SmackDown now with Shawn Michaels putting him over that way. There's talk of TNA and WWE actually doing a cross promotion event. And and I think that that is becoming more and more likely as this partnership goes.
Yeah,
the whole prohibitive portal when back at the Royal Rumble and it was just a one-off. Could this be anything? That opened the door, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels immediately capitalized on that after Vince McMahon was dismissed from the company. And it's that they're showing the world that the two biggest companies out there right now. Sorry, but TNA is now over AEW at the moment, just from this alone. They're showing how two big companies can work together and should work together. And both rosters are putting everyone on the opposite company's roster over there, and are really, really, bigging them up and praising them. Matt and Jeff Hardy, especially, the rubs they gave to Joe Hendry after Against All Odds, and the entire NXT roster wants to face Leon Slater, and that's just huge amounts of praise there. Moose, if he was to go to WWE, he said as much as he appreciates everyone in NXT, he doesn't think it's right for them to face him. It just he doesn't see them on the same star power level, and it won't have the same impact as if he was to go to Raw or SmackDown and face some of the guys on there, which I think is perfectly valid. Moose.
Yeah, that is valid. I agree. That is a valid point. Totally agree.
Links to that interview are on last week's show in the comment section.
Now, here's the thing, right? Now, I'm just going to go into some of the comments because, this show is nothing but fair. We like everybody's opinion. Now, I mean, Courtney's, Joe got rubbed, etc. Melonhead thinks obviously it's a little bit too early to tell the partnership is good or not. Well, I mean, the partnership is definitely both ways. That's for sure. If anything, you could say it's more TNA at the moment. Now, obviously, Next Bike won. Nice to see you, buddy. He's not watched much about NXT. Doesn't know much about that. Dragonstone Joe isn't done in NXT. And fun fact, Kaz has still never been pinned in the E in 9 matches. Very cool. Very cool. I didn't know that. And Terrence is saying the rub was the entrance. No, I agree with that. I think the entrance was massive.
Yeah.
Not many
The
people
crowd
got
went insane.
Well, not many people got to do the promo or got their entrance music. But
Yeah.
Joe came in last and was obviously got the big promo moment. And as you say, the crowd went nuts. They all joined in on the theme tune. They all joined in on the when he, Joe, and they go Hendry. They all joined in on all of that stuff. So, and the TNA chants, especially when Kaz came out, led the charge. He came out first, led the roster out. The TNA chants that were basically running wild through the building at that point was very cool as well. Now, what else have we got here? Let me just check. Else I think Joe Hendry is going to end up with the heritage title in NXT as described as British rules matches. Okay, could do. You never know. We also like Des to show up. That would be good.
Yeah.
Regards to my previous message. Let me just go through this a second. In regards to the previous message, if BFG is in the UK, Joe Hendry 100% wins the title. Well, you never know. You never know. That sounds good. I saw Frankie Kazarian got a great pop too. Yes, he did, and he's the one that got the TNA chant. That is true. Some of them want to face Steve. I mean, there's loads of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Limpster is getting involved in the chat, and. So wants to face Steve Maclin. Some of them want to face Steve Maclin as well. I guess a lot of them probably, are friends with Steve because obviously that's where he was. But I like this. Dead Punk saying, "What do you think about Hendry possibly working heel in NXT as opposed to working face in TNA?" Well, if you think about it logically, he is a heel in NXT regardless.
Yeah,
because he's a guy coming in from another company, isn't he? So that automatically makes him a heel, doesn't it? Straight off.
I was saying to you before we came on, that promo he gave, that promo he gave when he came out, he just immediately insulted everybody in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like it was one of the best, almost passive aggressive promos you could ever have, and it was good. That was just brilliant.
It was very, very good, and I'm down with it. And again, Simon, correct. They did mention Against All Odds several times, and I believe they showed footage from Jordan Grace and Tatum Paxley match as well. So there was a lot of pro TNA stuff going on, and I'm sorry, but in the last 3 weeks or so, there's been more positive stuff coming out of WWE NXT and TNA partnership than there was in like an entire year of that that absolute shit that was going on with AEW. So granted AEW stuff was, granted the AEW stuff was sort of kind of through the pandemic, which sort of kind of made life a little bit difficult. But
that's no excuse. That's no excuse for disrespect and poor business practice. Is that
I don't know. I think for me, it was almost like the opportunity for Tony to come along, because apparently Tony was at quite a lot of the tapings. So Tony was coming along to the tapings with his talent, and spending time talking to all of our talents. Isn't it funny that all of a sudden, when the partnership is pretty much done with, the people are starting to come back in, all the rest of it, all of a sudden we lose a load of our talents to AEW.
All the old ones. Like, we didn't really lose anyone in their peak form, did we? Like, Christian Cage, maybe so. But, like, he was kind of like, well, he was still with WWE at the time. And he was retired for 7 years. Do you know what I mean? But, like, Samoa Joe, over the hill. Jay Lethal, over the hill.
No, listen. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the talents that left Impact to go to AEW. A lot of talents left after
like Pentagon and Phoenix did, and
okay.
the Lucha Brothers,
There
LAX,
was
Brian Cage.
Yeah, we can talk about loads of them.
Brian
Matt
Cage was
Seidel.
no loss. Do you know what I mean?
Ethan
Like Brian Cage was
Ethan
just.
Page is another one. There's loads of them.
Yeah,
loads of them went. So, but
did we miss any of them though?
I didn't.
Have we not filled that void with better? Have we not carried on and evolved?
We may have done, but that's not the point, is it? The point is that his whole reason really was probably to get in there and raid our talent. You know, not necessarily to help TNA. Whereas I think this relationship is looking to be a little bit different.
Professional.
But you know, we're just going to have to see. I think it's a professional thing. I think people don't realize that, you know, Triple H is a TNA mark, right? No matter what anybody says, Triple H watched TNA, right?
Yeah.
When NXT was gold and black and in its prime, there was loads of TNA people involved at that moment. He was a fan of TNA, and I think he still is a fan of TNA. And I think that, you know, that's a big part of it. You know, and of course, you know, if he can make TNA super popular, then it's another rival to AEW, I suppose.
Did you watch the AJ Styles promo, if you will, at the Clash at the Castle?
Yes, I thought that was fantastic.
The massive clue was there when they were like, you know, what do you think about the partnership with TNA? He's like, yeah, we're gonna have a few of their guys over here, and a few of our guys are going there. So I was just kind of like, oh. So when they were on about like this Royal Rumble-esque battleground thing, I was just like, oh, so this is where our guys turn up. So it was weird. I was like, it's probably going to be Joe Hendry. So it was way too predictable, and it took the edge off it a little bit for me because it's 2024, guys, and the fact is like, I love the fact that wrestling is surprising now. But then someone like AJ with his soccer mom hair comes along and just says something like, "Oh yeah, a few of their guys coming here, a few of their guys going there." So it's just taking the edge off it a little bit. I'm
Maybe.
just kind of
and
like,
he didn't rule out
that something like. No, I'm kind of hoping that something like, I don't know, say Shawn Michaels turns up in our ring and starts saying like, "Right, I've had enough of you guys coming over here and stuff like that." And then the lights go down, then The Rock comes out and says, "I bought TNA." How about it? How about it?
That would be nuts. Yeah, that would be nuts. But yeah, so there's a lot of I think there's a lot more positives to this going on at the moment. I think people need to just let I'm a row and I shouldn't have done it. I got sucked into some dickhead on Facebook. Like all he gives a fuck about.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, all he cared about was, he didn't look at anything other than the fact that Joe only lasted a couple of minutes, or in that match, or he didn't, as far as he was concerned, Jordan come in, she had a match, she lost, and that was it. And I'm like, and I'm like, did you not watch Against All Odds? Can you not see that there's a story here? Like, are you just that?
Did you not even watch Jordan Grace's match?
Yeah, you don't get it. Like, I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think.
I agree. Everyone.
She might have told us it was, on Facebook.
Yeah,
isn't everyone a dickhead? That we're getting storylines continued across brands. Exactly. This is what I'm trying to say. Like Simon's exactly the thing. It's so far we are getting basically cross storylines. And he was going on about so all we've had is Tatum Paxley turn up. Well, to be fair, we've only had one fucking show. Like come on. Give it time. Do you know what I mean? We've only actually had one live show for someone to turn up from NXT. So, seriously, you've got to. People have got to chill out and wait and see what happens. It's gonna happen. There's going to be more and more, and I am absolutely convinced that at Slammiversary we're going to get a star. Someone's going to, even if it turns out to be a complete surprise, because I don't think they need to release a match about it, having a big star there to sell the tickets. It looks like they're going to sell them anyway. So if someone comes in once this is sold out, it doesn't matter, does it? That's not going to be the draw. And you couldn't turn around and say, the people only came there to see so-and-so because we've already sold the fucker out. So they didn't. They come to see TNA. You know what I mean? That was just an extra bonus. But, things are looking great. So I'm excited, but a little bit cautious because obviously, TNA at the end of the day are the smaller company. And, these things, you do sometimes they do seem to end up on the wrong end of stuff. So hopefully this time it's going to be a nice mutual thing.
Yeah.
We get some nice rubs for TNA. We get more people watching the product, getting excited about it. We get more money coming in, so everything else can improve. We can hand out big contracts to people. We can get upped production values for the shows and all that stuff. To be fair, all TNA needs is the production value of NXT. It doesn't have to be Raw or SmackDown. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that massive and elaborate. But if they could get that production value that NXT has, that would be awesome. And everyone would be happy, I think. But something else I wanted to mention, Matt Hardy and the recent bigger names have been ramping up the promotion of TNA on all the social medias. I don't know if you've noticed that as well.
Boys.
All the bigger names, bigger names.
Yeah.
Matt, now Jeff has been doing it. Obviously the Nemeth brothers have been doing it. They've all been bigging up
Eric Young, Josh Alexander.
Yeah, they've all
Jordan
been bigging
Grace.
up and promoting and saying, "Come and see us" and all that kind of stuff. And I love it.
Sami Callihan's been going mad about it too.
But I think it's good to see all of that. So I'm impressed with all of that stuff. And I just say, TNI-UK would like to wish happy birthday to the beautiful Masha Slamovich. I think she turned 29, was it, or something? Or 20? No, 27, I think. I don't know, I can't remember. I think it was 27. Yeah, she turned 27. But she's amazing, and I cannot wait for it. I still believe she's going to be the Knockouts champion at some point in the very near future. I'd love Masha to be Knockouts champion.
Yeah, Masha deserves it.
Yeah, she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the biggest news, probably other than Joe Hendry coming out this week, and I think that, I say this is great news. Rob Kligman has been appointed as Chief Revenue Officer for Anthem Sports Group. Now, this guy's got loads of experience, including working with WWE. He will be the lead development of partnerships with revenue growth for TNA and Invicta. As we were talking about, Anthem wanted to bring everything under the banner. Yeah, same banner. So Anthony Sione, or whatever his name is, he's the main man at present over all of that.
Yeah.
But they want to develop. He's come in for that reason. He will be reporting directly to the president of Anthem Sports, obviously, which is Anthony Sione, or whatever his name is. Dude has decades of experience, including, now I did read, he helped develop the Netflix deal for WWE.
Wow.
Now, I think that is huge. So this guy that they've brought in, that's a really good appointment. That's a really good appointment. And if anybody questions the Anthem's commitment to both TNA and Invicta now, then they must be crazy, because they're bringing in some decent people. They've lost a few and they're replacing them with some really good people. So you've got to, it's coming. Things are building. We're bringing in good people. It's going to be great.
They just need to believe.
You just need to believe.
They just need to believe.
Just believe, because I believe.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Right.
Cut off quite quick. It just said Joe Hen to me. Who's Joe Hen?
I know, it cut off for me too.
I got it.
Internet connection for you.
I believe in Joe Hen.
I believe in Joe Hen.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
There we go.
Mir's going to love it. We're going to be playing this all night. Right. Explosion went around the ring with Gia Miller, with TNA Jay Francis. In case again, I thought that was this was really good. AJ Francis is awesome. Right? I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Right? AJ Francis is awesome, and that's it. End of.
And AJ Tracy.
And AJ Tracy is pretty good too. In case you missed it, of course, was ABC versus Nemeth brothers from previous Impact, and then we got a great match between Leon Slater and, of course, Jonathan Gresham. But Gresham obviously defeats Slater at the end, which is probably what you'd expect. But what a match! Did you see this one, Joe?
Yeah, I caught up with it before we came on. It was absolutely insane. Gresham managing to somehow slow down Leon Slater, but even not knocking him out and weakening him, Leon Slater was sort of flying around the place, and it was just Gresham's technical mastery that eventually got the better of Leon Slater. But my God, the amount of praise he's getting from commentary in every one of his matches just shows how much admiration everyone has for him. He's just incredible. He was so good in this match. It was just brilliant.
Arc at him. Limpster UK, £252 of dong motivation. What's that about? You didn't
You're
believe.
not going to read that out.
You do believe now, don't you?
I believe in Dong Hendry.
Dong Hendry. I love it.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's a private joke with someone in the chat, but no worries. We've just gone live on TNI-UK with it. So yeah.
Oh, you can't put messages in the chat and then expect me not to read them, mate. You know the deal. You know the deal. This is that's what this show's all about. I take it that's something to do with James, as he's laughing.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, James, good man. Right, Adam Whitman's in the house. Just noticed that. And he knows Jimmy by the looks of it. Jimmy! Yep. Jimmy! There's a shout out.
Whitman.
It's PCO Whitman. Adam PCO Whitman. Oh, love it.
Okay. Jimmy! PCO
Jimmy! There's loads of people joining us tonight, which is fantastic. I just noticed Keith Goldman and, of course, Sweep's in the house, Swack's in the house. We noticed Swack earlier, actually. I like that idea. Who put that? Hang on, somebody just put something in there about Josh Alexander. Let me just get that. Dead Punk. Josh Alexander runs out and helps the North's teammate Ethan Page win the NXT title. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? And of course, totally possible.
Karate Man comes back.
Yeah. Karate Man. What a dick. Anyway, got no time for Ethan Page. Right. Moving on. Let's get into Against All Odds, shall we? Should we get into that? Let's get into the countdown first. The countdown to Against All Odds. We've got Sami Callihan defeats Gresham with the return of Kushida in a white coat and kind of like, scientific goggles and stuff. And sort of gets a swab of the ink out of Gresham's mouth and then runs off. That was interesting. Nice to see Kushida.
What a match, though. What a storyline. Because we've all been kept guessing over the past couple of weeks. And Kushida comes back and does that, totally unexpected. And then, just that match with Gresham and Callihan. Don't get me wrong, on this show, I've slated Gresham in the past. I've just been brilliant wrestler, no character. Now I can't take my eyes off the screen. And obviously, we know Callihan. He could sell a fight with a horse. Do you know what I mean? He's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So it's seeing this storyline evolve. It just it really benefits. It benefits Gresham.
He could toss off a horse.
I never said that. I said he could sell a match.
I thought you said he could toss
I was going to say, fantasies. We can talk about fantasies off air after the show if you want. But,
Fair dues, bro. Fair dues. All right, I'll keep it.
The fight between Sami and Gresham before, it's they beat the crap out of each other for 15 minutes before the match even got underway. I was
just like, this is going up free on YouTube. It's a pay-per-view quality match. Yet again, TNA is just kicked off a show, a pay-per-view.
What's going on?
With just a really good quality match. It's amazing. I love it.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Okay, and of course we managed to forward the storyline. So what the hell's going on now with Kushida? But yeah, anyway, all good. We then get the Knockouts tag title match, obviously Militia versus the Hex, after a pretty hard fought match. But after Masha breaks up the pin, Alisha hits an assisted top rope bulldog on Marti Belle to win the match, and of course retaining their titles. What were your thoughts on this match, Joe? Because I know you love our knockouts. So what was your thought on this one?
I enjoyed it. I especially seeing how Masha Slamovich took a hell of a beating on Thursday from Marti Belle. It was great to see her get revenge. I'd watched Impact on Monday, and then I caught up with No Surrender on Tuesday, so it's almost like a blur into one for me. But it was great to see Masha Slamovich and Alisha was working together again after there was that bit of tension before, when Alisha pushed her aside, saying that she's got more important things to deal with, going off to the Hardy compound. And part of me was thinking that at some point Masha's going to snap and just clobber Alisha Evans and walk off. but no, so far I've been proven wrong there. It's always good to see Allysin Kate, and always good to see Marti Belle. I hope they stick around for a bit longer too, because I'd love to see more of them. It's just
I love the Hex.
So great to see the Hex again.
Yeah, I love
it. It was a decent match. It was a bit too short for my liking, but then Sami and Gresham was about almost 25 minutes long. If you include the in-ring fight, the outside ring fight beforehand as well. So then they had to. So it was a nice short, sharp match to forward the system storyline too. So far, Masha Slamovich is still on board as long as she's got gold at the moment. So, but how long is that going to last? Is still lingering overhead.
Yeah, I think either way, I liked the countdown matches. I thought they were good. I think they were good, solid matches. I think if you were thinking about buying Against All Odds, those two matches would have probably tipped you over to give it a shot. And then you would have loved life, because it was a fantastic show. So we then go into Against All Odds. Now, another great opening catch up, the old video package leading into it as well. And they always do such a great job on those. I love them. But it was a straight fire start to the show. Now, this for me this is my favorite match of the night, actually. And it was Maclin and Santana versus the Rascalz. Yeah. I need your thoughts on this one, Joe. I'm going to go with you first. Maclin Santana obviously win. It was a great show of respect from Maclin and Santana to finish as well. But what are your thoughts on the actual match, Joe?
Oh my God, what a way to kick off anything. This was like match of the night right up until we got to ABC versus Josh Alexander and Eric Young. And this was incredible. What a way to kick off the whole night, and one and done. It's so sad to know that we technically are not going to be seeing Santana and Steve Maclin cross paths again now. But I've no doubt they're going to be intertwining still as they both head up towards the World Championship. But as far as Maclin's concerned, it's now business done. But this match was incredible. Both teams just put on a hell of a clinic and showed everyone what tag team wrestling is all about, and how good TNA is at pushing tag team wrestling all together, and how they have been doing it for the last 20 years. Or 24 years now.
Okay. I thought it was I love this match. If I need to do this, hang on. I love this match. It was a great match. Right. I absolutely loved it. And it helps. I love this match. That's it. It helps. I'm a massive Maclin fan, and I'm a big Santana fan, and I love the Rascalz. So, all four guys in this match, big fan. But why am I a big fan of them? Because they're great wrestlers, and great characters as well. I loved it. I thought this was a great match.
I just couldn't stop smiling throughout this entire match. I was so that engaged in it and that entertained by it. And I like you, I'm a huge fan of Maclin, a huge fan of Santana. Hell of a lot of respect for him. Still got his message he sent me on Instagram when he left, when LAX left, and I thanked him, and he thanked me back. after, and it's just the amount of respect that Steve Mackin showed me recently too. Whenever I've mentioned him in comments and stuff on Twitter, and that, hell of a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
It's just so great to see guys who are giving you putting you over, getting over too, and you can do what, just show your support as much as you can, and it's just great to see that. Hopefully that's adding to their performance, because I know their feedback is adding to me.
I think
I agree with
me back in that match though was just the fact that like Santana, like he can really move like an X Division fighter, but he's obviously built all this mass, he was going toe to toe with like both the Rascalz now, and I was just like, this is insane. Like, if I had a power cut and I couldn't watch the rest of the show, I would have been happy with what I'd seen so far. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was just top quality match, absolutely top quality match. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I loved it as well. We then get backstage. Matt Hardy vows to make the system obsolete by deleting the TNA world title reign of Moose tonight. Delete. Before the next match begins, the new digital media champion AJ Francis, or TNAJ Francis, disrespects, of course, the city of Chicago. Exactly what you expect.
Promo.
I mean, it was your bog standard, Chicago sucks promo, but it worked. The crowd absolutely hated him at that moment. So we then get obviously PCO versus Rich Swann, and this one I've set aside for Craig, mainly because of what happens at the end. But basically, PCO gets the win. But Craig, where's he gone?
He's frozen.
What's going on? He keeps disappearing, doesn't he?
I think his connection's froze.
Oh, okay. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, right. I'll ask you.
Yeah, he's Barry's just saying he's been sick in the bucket. Might have gone to get some tissues because we're going to be talking about Steph De Lander soon.
Oh my god. He's sick in a bucket. That's true. That's what it does look like. That it did look like he was being sick in a bucket, probably because we were talking about PCO at that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the bit in a minute with Steph De Lander, I'm sure he's going to get the tissues ready, and a little bit of moisturizer probably. Anyway, so PCO versus Rich Swann. What are your thoughts on this one, Joe?
This was a really good match too. Rich Swann got some real serious competition and booked into a pretty serious match again, which is good to see. And my God, his physical shape has changed so much over the last few months. It's just he's looking absolutely fantastic. He's really in
great shape. Yeah,
bulking himself up.
Have you been watching him on the socials, like doing all the stuff?
Yeah, he had me on Facebook, and I've been watching all of his videos he's doing there. On there, he's just looking absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
and he's building himself back up to world title contention, I'm sure. The fight next year.
He's in such good shape. It's ridiculous because he did put on a bit of a podge, didn't he?
Yeah, this match against PCO was absolutely incredible. PCO took a hell of a beating. Rich Swann gave a hell of a beating and took a hell of a beating too. We got that leg drop to Rich Swann when he's basically hanging off the ropes was really hard to watch. And then we got the big PCO stop. That's always so impressive seeing him land that so crisply.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah, definitely. Barry, I agree with you. AJ Francis and Rich Swann.
Yeah.
Great pairing.
It was the heel turn from Rich Swann we've been waiting for such a long time, and they picked the right guy for them to do it.
Okay, cool.
It's just a shame he's banned from diving.
So it's a real shame he's banned from diving because I think we could really.
You are banned from diving.
I think we could definitely do.
You are banned from diving.
Okay, so moving on. After the match, Steph De Lander obviously comes out, at this moment, we know exactly what Craig was doing. She steps in the ring, steps through the ropes, and she tells PCO that she will go on a date with him. Did
Craig's
your
from the TV.
dreams get burst at this moment, Craig? He's froze again, hasn't he? Look at him. It looks like he's gone to sleep.
He's frozen again. His connection. Oh, he's back. Yeah. What was your response to PCO and Steph De Lander?
Talking to you. Come on.
Thumb down.
Thumbs down.
No, I think he's so emotionally traumatized to our listeners. He can't put it into words, basically.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. He's traumatized. He's traumatized at the loss of SDL to the monster PCO. Interesting storyline, this one. Okay, so we then move on. We then get the System versus the Nemeth brothers. Tag title match, obviously with Dirty Dango as a surprise at ringside. Weird. That came out of nowhere. But of course, the System eventually defeating the Nemeth brothers. But Joe, again, I thought this match was fantastic and showing how good we seem to produce these tag matches. I mean, what were your thoughts on this, Matt? What was your thoughts?
I was blown away by Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth versus Ace Austin and Chris Bay to start with. But they just clicked together so brilliantly. That was an incredible match the night before. And to then match it and then go one better against Myers and Eddie Edwards was just incredible. This was such a great match. And along with Maclin and Santana's match and the Josh Alexander's match and the ABC that's coming, like these are like the top three chained together match of the night to me. It's so hard to pick.
All the tag matches I think on the show were great.
Yeah,
every single
incredible.
One.
Absolutely incredibly put together match, and it was just brilliant work from Rick and Ryan Nemeth. I'm sad to see them lose, actually, because I really think they would be the ones to start derailing the System. I thought they would do it first, but I can see probably Matt and Jeff Hardy going for it now and being the ones to derail the System that way, which in some ways would make more sense too, because then it gives Nick Nemeth a chance against Moose again.
Yeah, possibly.
Because his shoulders were off the mat at Rebellion, and that is still being mentioned too. It's still like being mentioned in commentary that it's happened, and they're waiting for Santana to actually act on it.
So now here's the thing. So Dirty Dango comes out.
Sorry.
Right. So Dirty Dango comes out and basically, is almost like the antidote to Alisha. So Alisha he sort of kind of helps Alisha get removed. So at this point, we're now thinking, okay, so Dan goes out here with the Nemeth brothers, and we get this sort of kind of like, we get on commentary where they talk about that there's like a history between Nick Nemeth and Dirty Dango.
This was a huge swerve for me. I thought, this can't
and then obviously right at the end, Dirty Dango joins the System. I mean, I didn't see this one coming, and to be honest with you, I didn't really know, because I'm not obviously. I don't watch much WWE these days. I used to years ago, but I didn't know there was much of a relationship between obviously Fandango and Nick Nemeth at all. I didn't know that, but obviously there was. They talked about it on commentary, but now, of course, after the match, it become very clear that Dirty Dango, of course, is now working with the System.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not something like Masha Slamovich. Hopefully it's an actual real involvement.
I don't know. I mean, they did a promo after, didn't they? And he was just sort of kind of like, he was just like pacing it in the back. But it's weird because I thought he was done. I honestly thought that he was done, but he is back on.
I did too. It was like it was one of the biggest surprises of the night was just to see him there in the first. I thought he was gone from the company, and so when I saw him at ringside, I didn't see that he was involved in the match or anything at all. I didn't even know he was involved in the match when I saw the post-match interviews and that. I just thought he just came out after the match and said something. I didn't know he had anything to do with the System winning.
Yeah.
But when he got Alisha ejected from ringside, part of me, even then, I was like, "Fucking hell! I can't believe this. He's actually going to be on. He's actually going to go back to being a babyface, and he's helping out the good guys." And Matthew Raywald couldn't believe it, and I was still in like Matthew Raywald's mindset. I can't believe that he's that Dirty Dango is just going to be Dango.
It's interesting. I mean, Barry's probably saying what I thought for a while, but he's saying for ages here, he's been saying that the system needs someone good on the mic, and Dango is good on the mic. He is good. Dango is like the most natural, like the way he comes across is very natural. In a sense, so he's not necessarily big, loud, and proud. Like a lot of people say, oh, to be a good promo guy, you need to be yourself and turn it up to 10. Well, actually, Dango doesn't do that. Dango has got this sort of kind of almost matter of fact way of approaching the promos. That it becomes very, it's very natural.
Thanks gets it done with like Santana and stuff like that. Were just honest. I haven't really ever. What was he, Fandango in WWE? I can't remember if I all ran that for like personal preference and stuff. But like watching him in TNA and when he was the vice director of authority and stuff. I was trying to funnily enough, Jimmy was in the comments earlier because I was telling him about Dango. He's like, "What, Dango's in TNA?" I was like, "Yeah, he's got this feud with Santana and stuff." I was trying to find those like little snippets and stuff, but they didn't chop them up like they have other stuff on TNA, and it's such a shame because honestly, I think that was just gold, and it made both characters TNA casual fans, whatever, would warm to both characters. No, both of them were WWE, but they've got a new lease of life in TNA. It was just so funny. I love that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was good. I like Dango as well. I love that. I hate TNA. I hate pro wrestling stuff. I love
it. Man, I hate pro wrestling.
I love all that. I thought it was brilliant. Anyway, Gia Miller then interviews former TNA World Tag Team Champions ABC as they prepare to battle Josh Alexander and Eric Young, despite their loss to Nick and Ryan Nemeth last night on Impact. ABC vowed to swing momentum back in their favor. A nice moment, nice segment backstage. I think that worked really well and obviously set up their match. We then got Frankie Kazarian versus Joe Hendry with his new manager and promoter now, Ace Steel. Kaz eventually uses the brass knuckles to get the win. But Craig, what were your thoughts on this match? Because I know you're a big fan of Joe Hendry, aren't you? Or is it Dong Hendry? I know you're a big fan.
To be fair, I thought it was a top draw match because we've got Joe Hendry at best form of his life. We really have. And Kaz being the king of TNA, I thought it was really progressive, the storyline in that way. Kaz won the match as well. It was a throwback, do you know what I mean, to the old TNA ways and stuff like that. I think that I really don't think that we've seen the best of Kaz yet. And I know that he might be knocking on a little bit in some people's eyes, but he's in wicked shape and stuff. And the storyline that's going ahead, I think that, we could be on the very edge of seeing something really big with Kaz. And again, the fact that we've had both those guys jump over to NXT, and they've got a feud of their own and stuff. I think that's wonderful. Wonderful that we've got them stepping away and carrying on their feud and coming back. You know what I mean? It's progressive in all sorts of angles. It's insane. I love the match. I love the way it ended, and I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Okay, sounds good. So after the match, Kazarian adds insult to injury as he locks in the chicken wing. Ace Steel obviously comes out to Hendry's aid, but Kazarian pushes him from behind. Steel doesn't back down and delivers a right hand to the jaws of Kazarian. So obviously we were building something up there with regards to him. I'm not sure anybody needs to see Ace Steel back in the ring, but who knows? We then get Trent Seven reveals shocking footage from after Mustafa Ali's sit-down interview with Tom Hannafin last night, proving that Ali is a complete hypocrite. Then we get, obviously, the X Division title match, Mustafa Ali versus Trent Seven. Stunned at the time by the footage, Ali makes a beeline for Tom Hannafin, who is saved right at the last minute by Trent Seven as the match kicks off. Now, Joe, Ali eventually retains after obviously hitting the sharpshooter on 7 to then get the submission victory. For me, this is one of my favorite matches of the night. What were your thoughts on this one, Joe?
It was pure wrestling masterclass. Once again, Mustafa Ali is just showing that he is one of the best X Division champions that TNA has ever had. And that's not just being on the campaign of Mustafa Ali. That is just a fact. He's been absolutely incredible since he's come to TNA and really shown what he can do in the ring. And Trent Seven really put him through his paces in this match too. It was such a great match. And like Kazarian match beforehand, we got 2 matches of just pure wrestling masterclass. In-ring storytelling was brilliant. The finishes were brilliant. And my God, I at times I thought Mustafa Ali really had this match lost, even though I'd seen the results on a date on Saturday, and I see him then watching it. You're that engrossed in the match, you forget all the spoilers, you forget all the post-match interviews. You just sit there and you just it's like you're watching it for the live. So you don't know anything that's coming, or I don't know anything that's coming. I really do think Trent Seven had this match won several times, and to have it finished with the sharpshooter rather than the 450, that was pretty impressive too, showing that Mustafa has got other weapons in his arsenal. He's got submission skills. He's got the technical prowess of many high, better known stars and past and present. He's just incredible.
I think he's a great all-round talent.
Definitely.
Ali. I think if anyone said to me, who do you think out of all the guys that have come in to date, who has had the best run, I would definitely say it was Ali. He's had the most impact, if that makes sense, pardon the pun, since he's come in. I think they have worked the storyline really, really well from day one. I think it's been really, really good. I hope he stays. He's been given lots of very positive feedback about his time in TNA at the moment. And I know that he's obviously booked through the summer tour, so we've still got him for a little while.
Yeah, we've got him up until at least Bound for Glory, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, but I think he's doing an amazing job, and we love Trent either way. I mean, a good Englishman, we love it.
Yeah,
good Brummy lad. But it's all good. Now, backstage, Director of Authority, your favourite, Craig, Santina Marella, makes a match for this Thursday's Impact. So we get Frankie Kazarian versus Ace Steel in a Chicago street fight. Now, whatever the difference is between a Chicago street fight or a New York street fight or any kind of street fight, I don't know. But other than the fact that potentially it's going to be in the streets of Chicago. I've not heard anything about this one, so I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what they do with this. So yeah, it should be good. Josh Alexander and Eric Young versus ABC. Obviously ABC then eventually pick up the win. But Craig, what were your thoughts on this one? Now we know that Joe loves the tag matches, so I thought we'd go to you on this one. What were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought obviously if we look at the history of Eric Young, he's been a great tag team wrestler before. Josh being part of the North, all these sort of things. I really thought that they were going to get the win. I didn't think ABC were going to stand a chance, to be fair, with both Josh and Eric being former heavyweight champions as well. I thought they're not going to lose this. But it just looked to me like ABC had them at every corner. It's just like they were kind of like a step ahead, if you know what I mean. There was a lot of good moves in it. Like, don't get me wrong, it was really it was a good exhibition, if you will. But I didn't expect ABC to win. But the way they did was really cool. And again, it's progressive for storylines and that. But are we seeing like a rebirth of Team Canada? Who knows?
Well, they were wearing their maple leaves, and they were both wearing the red and black or red and white or whatever it was. So they were sort of kind of they were in the Canadian colours, shall we say? Yeah. And they both had the maple leaves. But I enjoyed this match. I know Joe liked this one. I think as I said earlier, I think all of the tag matches were really strong, including this one. I thought this was really good. Now, Deb Punk is saying, just saying, do you think that the Kaz versus Ace Steel will be a cinematic style match? I have a feeling it might be, actually. I have a feeling it could be. Going back sort of kind of like to old school TNA when they did little things like this, which I think, yeah, it could potentially be that. So who knows?
Yeah,
we'll have to...
it could spell out back and then end up just finishing out back off, starting out back and finishing in the ring.
Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah. No, I think it could be. You never know.
We know Kaz is going to try not and get as much of an advantage over him as possible. So, and he's also got Joe Hendry to worry about too. Or the King won't worry about it. Obviously, the King of TNA won't worry, but he's got to take Joe Hendry into consideration too. He's going to be after him too.
Yeah, exactly. Take care, Courtney. Thanks for joining us today.
Take care, Courtney.
Now, history is made once again as WWE NXT's Tatum Paxley, or Pax as she likes to be called, answers Jordynne Grace Open Challenge to the Knockouts World Championship. Before the match begins, the personal concierge introduces Ash by Elegance, who is watching on from the top of the ramp. Now, we get the KO World title match, Grace obviously versus Paxley. What were your thoughts on this one? I mean, because I think this was a really solid match, and obviously Grace, retains the KO title, but the match itself I thought was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and I think anybody that was sort of like, oh, you only got Tatum Paxley or whatever, and I think she's quite young and inexperienced, I believe. But
yeah, she's very early in her career.
I thought this match was great. What were your thoughts?
Given that this is so early on in her career, to get a match like this on TNA, from such a huge crowd, have a big crowd in NXT is one thing. To go from NXT to another company, represent the company you're from, and go up against one of their top wrestlers, and go at it for almost 20 minutes and put on a hell of a clinic is just amazing. It's going to add a lot of merit to her contract and her history now, win or lose. You can see a lot of the inspiration from Daphne and the way she moved and the way she acted, and I love that so much.
I love Daphne.
Daphne was incredible, and it's so great to see. And a shout out to the Scream Queen, and she's nailed it perfectly.
I agree.
The Jordynne Grace winning was no surprise, but it was still. She's not as if she had an easy ride to do it. She also got Ash by Elegance covering the champagne at the end of the match, which is always good to see. And the person, the concierge, almost got punched in the face.
Well, that was what I was
actually
say.
He did get punched in the face. He got the jeweled knuckles across the face. But Patton was wishing that Zaya Brooks had come out and done that, but still, it was just great to see Jordynne Grace punch him.
Yeah, so after the match, Ash by Elegance obviously blindsides Jordynne Grace with the bejeweled knuckles. Grace quickly gains the control, dumps Ash to the outside, then soaks her, obviously, in her own champagne.
My eyes are melting.
I'm gonna go with Barry on this one though. Now, Barry's saying that the crowd utterly dead for Ash by Elegance. It's not working. Yeah. She's not getting cheered or booed. They're just ignoring her. And I kind of agree. I think when she first started, she was getting a bit of interest. There was a lot of like, ooh, look at her, she's gorgeous, and all that kind of stuff. And I have to say, I was hoping for big things. But you're right. I just don't think it's working. This is not working. I was
a bit annoyed, to be fair, because obviously, I'm not very quiet when it comes to me being a bit against WWE and not really enjoying it and stuff like that. But the fact that we got this Paxley girl, albeit she didn't choose her own name, surely, because that is Tatum Paxley. What is that? It sounds
Tatum Paxley.
So it sounds like a kind of dish.
O'Neill.
Yeah, just fried Bison and Tatum Paxley, please. But it
sounds like a gravy. Sounds like a Paxo.
It's a bit of Bisto in there. But sorry, Joe. Let's give Joe. He's gone. So it's just a match. I thought the fact that she's come to TNA, like we've mentioned, it's early in her career and stuff like that. I thought it was a brilliant match. I was genuinely stunned by the girl. But I thought it was brilliant. I thought she went toe to toe. She was really good and stuff like that. going back to what Barry mentioned and stuff like that, I just think the end, I'm like, can we like curve that? You know, should we just have like Ash Elegance is blinded for 6 weeks or whatever from the champagne? Because let these girls who were in the ring run with the storyline. Because like, you know, this NXT girl she was brilliant, and it just But I think we could do with like Mickey James coming in and kicking Ash's ass, something like that.
Do you know what I think would have been better for this is if Rosemary was in the rafters or something.
Yeah,
watching the match, you had like, you know, watching Paxley.
like she was when she was on Impact. She was stalking Mash.
I was going to say, what was that about?
Yeah, but on Friday, Rosemary, Havoc, and Tasha Steelz were down in Mexico, and they wrestled in AAA.
Yeah, they were. But it's interesting I think it's very interesting where this goes. I think Tatum Paxley with, you know, getting some attention from Rosemary would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we then head into the TNA World Title match. Obviously, Moose versus Broken Matt Hardy. The match begins, and out of nowhere, Nick and Ryan Nemeth brawl with Eddie Edwards. Brian Myers to the back. Hardy hits the side effect on the hardest part of the ring. We all know that. By the twist of fate on the floor, Moose cracks him in the head with a fresh can lid, then suplexes him on the trash can itself. Now, the fight spills into the crowd where Moose rams Hardy into the wall. Back in the ring, Hardy hits a vertical suplex, then drops an elbow from the top for 2. Hardy goes for another twist of fate, but Moose counters into the standing Uranagi. Moose hurls to steal the chair to the head of Hardy. Moments later, Moose hits a thunderous superplex, sending Hardy crashing into a pile of steel chairs. Turnabout is fair play as Hardy powerbombs Moose through the collection of chairs. And this is where when people say he can't go, come on. Moose puts on his old NFL helmet, but Hardy...
Wonderful!
Hardy drops him over the top rope into a ladder onto the floor. Hardy soars off the top of the ladder, driving Moose through the table. With his signature leg drop. Now, mate, come on, this dude can still go. Hardy wraps a steel chair around the head of Moose and hits the twist of fate. Hardy has the match won, but Alisha attacks him with a kendo stick. Rebecca Hardy neutralizes Alisha with a twist of fate. Moose pulls Rebecca into harm's way, causing Hardy to accidentally spear her through a table. There's a lot of moving parts in this end segment. Moose catches Hardy off guard with a spear to obviously get the win. Now, before we move on to obviously what happens next, Moose then retains the world title. There was a lot of moving parts at that point towards the end. I think it worked really, really well. It's very entertaining all the way through. And I'm sorry, Matt Hardy can go, right? He may not be able to go like he used to, but he can go. He was still putting out some banging spots. There's no doubt about that. It was a very fun match. I enjoyed it a lot. And if you don't think Hardy can go, you need to watch this match.
Definitely. People shitting on Matt Hardy just because they're just assholes, basically. You know, it's the same with Jeff. You know, when we'll get on to Jeff Hardy. They're just being assholes for the sake of being assholes. You know, this match was brilliant, and I agree with Simon. The only downside was when Matt and Moose went into the crowd, and you couldn't really see what was going on unless you were in the audience. But the camera's got some decent, and the commentary did a good enough job to sort of let everyone know what was happening then. But even then, you know, it was just that was just great to see for the crowd to be there to see, and you can also hear the crowd shouting, "We can't see, we can't see." That was fun. That is added to the atmosphere and the feel and everything. You know, you want that controlled chaos, and you're going to get it from Matt Hardy, even if fans can't see it.
Yeah,
but
I agree with Matt as well. I mean, sorry, Barry Monkey in the chat, he's saying that it's type of match that suits Matt Hardy because it's not all about the wrestling. It was a proper like kind of hardcore type match. I think it was really good. But let's talk about what happened after the match. So after the match, the System rejoined Moose to celebrate his victory. They add insult to injury as they continue to attack Matt and Rebecca Hardy. I thought it was Rebby Hardy, but anyway. Nick Nemeth, Ryan Nemeth, and Joe Hendry. See, this is where, even though Joe lost his match, this is where he gets the rub. Join the fray, but fall victim to the numbers game. But then Jeff Hardy makes his shocking return to TNA as he takes on the system. Hardy soars with a swanton bomb to Moose, then stands tall with his allies to end the show. And of course, TNA against all odds goes off the air.
Oh man,
I
actually genuinely screamed. It was when they came out to the original Hardy Boys music. I was just like, I'm not going to try and imitate how I screamed, because I screamed like a little girl. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, because I couldn't believe that, one, Jeff Hardy has actually come back to TNA. Two, he looks phenomenal. He looks in good shape for himself and stuff like that.
He does. Looks a bit grey, but yeah, he's definitely in good shape.
Well, standard, but he's like, you think of all the stuff that he's been through and stuff like that, and he's come back to us. He looked fresh. He got involved. He was absolutely faultless. He's come out to that music. He came out with a chair that he quite clearly painted himself, and it's just fantastic. I'm so happy that he's back, and long may it continue.
I agree, totally, 100% agree. I think it's amazing, and the fact that these big names, regardless of whether they're a bit older or whatever, but these big names are coming to TNA now. Right, and they are big in TNA up, and they are putting it over as much as they possibly can. Is fantastic. So I think it was fantastic for the fans, fantastic for the Hardy Boys, and again, it was the Hardy Boys music. And I know somebody was questioning, because Matt there was something put out that Matt and Jeff will be the Hardy Boys will be tagging for the first time in TNA, but what they didn't pick up was that when they tagged together in TNA, they were Team Extreme. They weren't the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's going to be the first time the Hardy Boys, because it sounds like they're able to go out as the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, Matt and Jeff are technically free agents. Yeah,
but it's not to do with that. I think it's because they've obviously got permission from WWE.
That's it.
So I think that's what's going on there. I believe that the music, though, that original music is available for free. It's not.
Yes, it's what Jeff is on the independent.
I know about that one. So if you played the music that you came up to, and you played it against the one that they use in WWE, there's a key change. It's slightly different. It's the untrained ear. You can't quite hear it. But, they use that music in AEW, and that's the kind of it's remix. It is a completely different version, but it's like you say, it's like copyright free, so it's they're allowed to use it. There's no royalties having to be paid. But it's the fact that we've got the green light to kind of use them as the Hardy Boys in TNA. This partnership, I think, will go deeper than any whatever kind of to know.
Yeah, it's clearly that's what they've got, because they've saying that it'd be the first time the Hardy Boys have teamed. So yes, it will be, because I think Brother Nero and Broken Matt have teamed together, and Team Extreme have teamed together, but not the Hardy Boys. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be great. But guys, listen, please take the time to share and like today's show. Help us to promote TNI and of course TNA to the masses. Let's get TNA promoted to that NXT crowd, even though they all seem to know it. But let's get them following TNI as well, so they could check out us, the best TNA related channel on the YouTube and of course Twitch.
Swafan, I've got 2 dogs. I'm not sure. I'm surprised you've not seen them before. I got Sami the Staffy, the big white one, and Susie the little French bulldog.
He wasn't talking to you, mate. He was talking to Joeker, whoever Joeker is.
And then he corrected him.
Joeker. Oh, there you go. Anyway, Barry said I really need just stop oil activity today.
I love it, Barry. Yes, let's do it.
That would be fun. That would be great. Okay, let's talk about this Thursday though. So we don't have a lot advertised, as always. We never have a lot advertised.
Just reading what Barry's written now.
I know. I know.
Can you imagine? Just as Trump comes out, delete.
It's fake news.
China.
Yeah.
It's all about China. It's all about China and fake news. It's all fake news, man. Anyway, right. So let's talk about this Thursday's Impact. So the system will kick off.
Get away from politics.
Yeah. They'll kick off Impact this week, so there's obviously going to be a big moaning and God knows what else. And see, I told you we were going to win. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Hey, Aaron, nice to see you, man. Frankie Kazarian versus Ace Steel in that Chicago street fight, and we've got the PCO and SDL go on their date. That's pretty much all we've got advertised. There's no actual sort of other than the Ace Steel Frankie Kazarian. I don't think there's any other matches actually advertised. But there will.
Limp's just got a hit out on PCO, so we'll look out in the background during the segment for anyone with look for a red dot.
Wait for,
you reckon?
About to say, wait for that red dot to just go towards the chest.
There's no tissues, so there's going to be red dots instead.
No, honestly, as soon as SDOC said these, then it'll be fine.
No, she said weed. She didn't say yes.
Yeah. Well, she did too.
Well, guys, I mean, because there's not really a lot to talk about. I agree, Smack. I think probably Joe Hendry will cost Frankie that street fight of some way. He'll get some sort of revenge, and then that will forward the storyline even more. So yeah, that'll please obviously the fans that don't believe in Joe. Anyway, that's all we have time for this week, guys. Also, if you want to show your support to TNI UK team, please feel free to super sticker us or head over to prowrestlingtees.com/Total Nonstop Impact for some great shirts, or head over to our exclusive Spreadshirt merch store. Links, of course, are below. All the TNI shows are also available on the Listen on the Go fans for audio only via SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. We are there. Where can we find you on the social media, Joe?
Yeah, just to quickly answer Aaron Jack's question. AJ Styles for Slammiversary, I can see it coming. Whether it's against Moose or against someone else, I can see AJ Styles versus Josh Alexander versus Maclin would be another good match, or versus Santana. But AJ Styles at Slammiversary, given the way AJ Styles bumped up TNA and the whole and WWE's working relationship, I can see him going against Moose, Josh Alexander, Maclin, Santana, even Ace Austin or someone like that. He will be at Slammiversary one way or another, or Bound for Glory. Anyway, but back on with the plots. You can find what we've got a plot this week, have we? Yeah, we have got a plot because the Bison is back. So, but better than the last couple of weeks. I'm pretty sure you guys can agree. Apart from the dog jumping on my lap, you can find me on Twitter at JOK Empty Space, or jump onto YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Look for hashtag Empty Space, hashtag Into the Void, or preventative to your taste buds and your sense of humor, hashtag Daily Giggle, but approach with an open mind, and you just might keep your sanity.
And what about yourself, for Craig? Where are we going to find you other than obviously, Spirals?
Yeah, hiding, peeking around the corner looking for Steph De Lander.
You can find me in SDL's DMs on the daily. One day she'll open them, I'm sure, but nah.
One day she'll open them, screenshot them, and post them on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this freak?
Oh man, that's if they ever existed, or if I didn't use a burner account. But you can find me if you're watching live on YouTube, or you're watching back on that little blue bit there. It says LimpstarUK with no space. You can go on TikTok. You can go on Facebook, you can go on Instagram and follow me on there. If I see you following me, I will follow you back. That's also Limbo on SoundCloud. I will melt your brain with some music if you fancy that. I'm currently on X as Network Stu. I haven't changed it yet. So give us a follow on there and I'll follow you back. And my friend has texted me and I've got to make sure I say, "What spit on that thing?" because apparently I have to make sure I say that on the show today. So there you go.
Okay, fair enough. Of course, if you want to follow the TNI on the socials, we are on everything at We Talk Impact. So on everything, where it be X, boom, whether it be Facebook or the Instanet, we are there at We Talk Impact. Make sure you go and follow TNI as much as you possibly can. Find me at Lord Bison 45 on the Twitter spots. And of course, if you want to follow me on TikTok at Bison by Design, I am there and I promote TNI. I promote my training program and everything else on there. So lots of inspirational stuff and lots of TNI stuff on there as well. So
Wonderful.
Go and check it out. Go and follow me on the TikTok. Anyway, guys, please take the time to help us out moving up the rankings on YouTube by giving us a thumbs up. And if you're new to us and you like what you see, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to give the bell a tickle, a squeeze, or a smash to never miss any of the great TNI UK and TNI US teams' great TNA related content each and every week. With all that said, I've been Bison. They, of course, have been the Joker and the LimpstarUK. And this has been episode 186 of Impacted. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.